Got a question coming in on the defensive side of the ball from Aiden Chris asking whether Zach McCloud, whether you project him as a starter or a backup at D end.
I project him at this time as a starter, or at least at the top of the rotation. If you're talking about DeAndre Johnson, the transfer from Tennessee, Jafari Harvey, and Zach McCloud, those guys are going to be at the top of the rotation. So, I mean, somewhere at least starter adjacent. You know what I mean? But then the rest of his play should be impacted, or the rest of his playing time should be impacted by his play on the field. So if he'll be starter adjacent in my mind from now, whether he performs and stays that and earns more playing time, or other guys perform more and they leapfrog him. And, you know, to Miami's credit, there have been leapfrogs on the depth chart recently. You know what I mean? Everybody knows Gregory Rousseau didn't start his entire, redshirt freshman season, one in which he had 15 and a half sacks. You know, he was behind other players. I don't necessarily think it's the fault of the other player. I think it's the fault of the coaches. But, you know, being mad at that other player, like, he's just like going out here and doing what he's supposed to do. You know, and the coach says, hey, you're up first. All right, coach. Cool. You know, everybody's not going to be Ryan Gosling from Remember the Titans, where he says, Coach, I can't cover this guy. Go get this guy my spot. Oh, my God, take Petey. Go and get, you know, everybody's not going to be him who's going to go and tell Petey to take their spot. You know what I mean? Like, you got some prideful guys and everything, and guys who are, you know, still playing college football and things like that. So, yeah, you know, but if there are other guys who are performing better, especially along the defensive line, Miami has shown and proven that they will change up the rotation to give those guys at that position more playing time. So, yeah, I would say as of now, I think that Zach McCloud will be starter adjacent, and that his play on the field and that of others will dictate whether that will change or stay the same.
This isn't necessarily, it's not a question nor a comment. It's, of course, a comment, but I just thought it was rather interesting from Mark East. So living in Ohio, he's talking about growing up in Ohio. So, again, understand the brand there of college football, of what institutions there. And he's saying half of the annoying kids at my school in the 80s liked the U, probably because of the swagger.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fine. Like, you know, I don't have to be, y'all don't gotta like us. And I'm sure those kids had that same mentality. Like, hate all you want, but, you know, had that brash bravado. You know what I mean? Like, in the wise words of, you know, old Kanye West, previous Kanye West, not crazy now Kanye West, but, you know, back when he was doing great music and everything. If they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to hate, that's fine. Hate me. I will be the bad guy. Oklahoma in the 80s, I know y'all hated us because we whooped your ass every time. You know what I mean? And, you know, going back through, you know, the history of things. And again, shout out to Bomani Jones with his podcast, The Right Time on ESPN. And they're doing the book club again for this year. And the book is Kane Mutiny, you know, and getting a look and going back and rereading that book for the 5th time and talking about everything. You know, Jimmy Johnson hated Oklahoma, you know, but he coached at Oklahoma State. And, you know, he could never beat them because that was, you know, the big brother, little brother, and Oklahoma State, you know, could never beat Oklahoma. Then he came to Miami and was like, oh, I got something for y'all. Put him on the schedule every year because I was on the other end of this ass whooping for a long time when I was in Stillwater. Now I'm in Coral Gables. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You know what I mean? So yeah, he had all that kind of stuff, you know. And so, yeah, I'm sure that there are people who were fans of Miami who people didn't like. That's okay. I'm a fan of Miami and an alum now, and I know for a fact that there's people who hate me. I got so many people blocked on social media who call me because that. Oh, y'all Miami fans are so da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're right. Block mute, because I will let you see what I'm saying all the time, and you can scream into the void of nothingness, my friend. You know, so like, yeah, it's perfectly fine, and I'm sure that was what it was. You know, so if those kids that you grew up with or whomever else was attuned to the greatness and the swagger of Miami, and that affected or negatively impacted others' view of them, that says more about the others than those who rooted for Miami. Thanks.
I posted that as more of a compliment to Miami.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And in addition, regardless of where it would have been in the country, it would have had less, it would have resonated less had it been in the middle of Kansas or Wyoming or Illinois or a state with a non-football power elite program. But he, growing up in Ohio,
Right.
was surrounded by kids that were attracted to Miami and not the football power in their backyard and the home state team.
Right. And that just shows the draw of the University of Miami. The power of the logo, the cult of personality, and everything, just of what we have cultivated and did cultivate and had and everything. So, that is definitely a compliment, where people are reaching over whom would normally be in their area as their number one team, and saying, no, that team from over there, whenever they're, y'all know I grew up in Detroit. You know that I rarely watched the University of Miami, and I fell in love with the university and the school first through the baseball program, always being in the College World Series. But, and I'm from Detroit. That's the one state north from the state south of Michigan that we just talked about. Hey, man, it affected me the same. Me, myself, personally, this guy who was talking, I can commiserate with all of that. And to the previous comment in the super chat, yes, Miami's lost 11 of their last 12 bowl games.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So I need to give everyone their fair shake there, but Cam did state that. I just lost track of it. Yeah, Phil is here all the time for the Florida State and apparently the Miami show, so we appreciate that, Phil. Thank you so much for that. So we do read anything unless there's only been maybe one time that I did not read a super chat because it was defamatory in some way. Yeah. But yes. 1 and 10, is that what that adds up to? Wanted to catch this one, 1 and 11.